I'm divorcing my husband to have more me time. Am I the asshole?
Hey, wife, good morning. How you doing?
Yeah.
Go back to sleep.
Yeah.
Forever.
My husband, 40 male, and I, 39 female, have been married for 12 years. Together for 13. We are in a wonderful marriage overall. However, I typically end up with the brunt of the housework. Cooking, errands, laundry, an early morning wake up with the youngest of our 2 boys, 6 male and 13 male, even on Saturdays and Sundays.
Dang, no days off over here.
No days off. I also spend a lot of time cleaning up behind my husband because he forgets to do things. Because of this, I usually end up with almost no free time, and I never get to be the one who sleeps in. A lot of things he forgets are small things like leaving shoes in the walkway, or leaving the lint from the lint trap on the top dryer instead of throwing it away, or continuing to put trash in an already full trash can, which I'm doing currently. I need to take out the trash.
Bad Sam.
Use glasses left out instead of brought to the sink. Use wash rags left out on the shower floor, etc. Man is a sloth. It sounds petty, but over time, all these little things are a lot of time out of my life cleaning up after a grown up, when I'm already cleaning up after 2 non-grown ups. I own a business and am working on my degree on top of all of this, so I have very little spare time as it is.
Damn. Wow. Jeez. That's so much.
Wow. He, on the other hand, works from home and is able to sleep in, take nap breaks, play video games on his lunch break, and even takes an hour or 2 every evening while I study to play video games again to decompress. Fucking lame, dude.
Right?
Anyway, he does give me time to go to the gym or run, but I've been skipping it more and more to try to keep up with the mess and chores at home. When I bring it up, he says I'm being unfair because I'm focusing on the few times he forgets to pick up after himself, and I'm not seeing all the other things he does. He does clean up after himself about 50% of the time, depending on what it is, but some things he legitimately never does, like leaving lint on the dryer or throwing away used toilet paper rolls. He also suffers from a sleep disorder, which can make a person feel foggy sometimes. He says I should be more compassionate with him and accept this is part of loving someone with a chronic illness. I don't sleep enough, so I couldn't possibly pick up after myself. The truth is that I do understand what chronic illness is like, and I do have compassion. I myself have been living with chronic pain and fatigue for years, and finally undergoing the diagnostic and treatment process for lupus and RA. Riley, what's RA?
It's like rheumatoid arthritis, a chronic, long-lasting autoimmune disease arthritis that affects joints. Yeah.
Bro.
Yep. Yeah. It can get really bad
a lot
later in life too. I'm always in pain and constantly exhausted, but I muscle through and maintain a reasonable level of order and sanitation in my home because that's what adults do for their kids. I don't have the luxury to forget to do the important things like laundry, dishes, or cleaning because then no one else does it. He also says I have an unreasonably high standard of cleanliness. Really, I feel like not wanting to leave urine stains around the base of the toilet or leaving used dishes and food on counters in an area notorious for roaches is not having high standards. I feel like his standards are lower than the average adult, as most people would find that pretty gross.
Babe, I'm friends with the roaches. I want them to like me.
I want them to love me. They are my family. One of my things my journey through AID has taught me is to learn to say no. What's AID? AID? It's not AIDS.
Autoimmune disorder?
Oh, yeah. Although I love my husband and best friend dearly, I don't see this ever changing unless he is literally forced. I am starting to feel like taking myself out of the equation is the best option to maintain my own sanity by having one less person to clean up after and find some much needed downtime through shared custody. So she's thinking divorce.
Yeah.
Even if he only had the kids for 1 day a week, I feel like custody sharing might force him to hold himself to a reasonable standard of hygiene and cleanliness too. I definitely enable his laziness out of necessity to meet basic, safe levels of cleanliness. Without me there, he'd have to learn to be consistent or risk losing visitation. This is the only complaint within the marriage. We really do love each other and care for each other, and he's emotionally very kind and supportive. I love him very much, but would I be the asshole for divorcing over this? And there is a big juicy update and a little bit more info. But what do you think, John? Is OP the asshole for thinking about divorce?
I got some thoughts. So something we've actually brought up on the show before is like, oh, well, what about, if you have a 2-income household, have a lot of income, maybe hiring like someone to help with like the chores, cleaning the house, like etc. However, in this case, I think it's more of like, it's not like both of them are trying to keep up and they're like just getting stressed over and like, let's just like take the load off of both of us. It really seems like OP's husband is not acknowledging all of the effort and work that OP's putting into, despite the massive amount of stuff that she has on her own plate. So I don't know that, while sometimes I think it's a great solution, I don't know that it works here. And it's really him just not respecting her at the end of the day.
I wonder if like a half measure is like going on a vacation for a week or like staying with her family for a week and say like, hey, I want you to like take care of the house for a week and see what it actually means to do that.
Yeah, I like that.
I want to come back to this house and it actually be like spotless.
I agree. I think it's a great idea.
Let's see. So here's some update on the info. Yes, we have talked about it a lot. We have the same fight at least once every other week for over a decade. We tried counseling, nothing changed. Even after our therapist told him that even though he was loving and supportive, resentment was a marriage killer, she suggested a maid service. He does not want to spend money on a cleaning service. I would love to have weekly cleanings. I was able to talk him into a one cleaning per month. I'm working on increasing my earning potential so I can afford it myself. Yes, he does have diagnosed ADHD. I feel like this is a potential explanation, not excuse thing though. And 5, I know divorce is expensive, but I have a very supportive family and I'm very close to expanding my business and attaining degrees that would allow me to be more autonomous. That being said, we care a lot about each other, parent well together, and have a lot that we've built together. Okay, and there's a big update, but like I think it's like if everything else is working well and you feel that this is the only thing standing in the way of a happy marriage and you want to make it work, you could just pay out of your own pocket for the maid service. It does feel like a red flag though that he's not willing to like listen to you. And I'm surprised that this wouldn't show up in other ways in the relationship. You know,
it sounds like someone's not listening. Like, is he actually like observing and acknowledging like, yo, you're putting in like all of this work? It doesn't seem like that to me.
It just feels indicative of a larger relationship issue. Like if you're not able to work through this, then there might be something wrong. Yeah. Update. We fought about it. I ended up ugly crying, partially out of frustration and partially because I'd been up since 4:45 with the youngest. I told him that it was about lint on the washer and used toilet rolls on the sink, but not really. I said that I felt like he didn't listen nor care to try. We apologized, wrapped me up in a duvet, and left me to nap while he took over housework and kids. He is really sweet and does try. It's been nice to have a day off, but I'm still skeptical because this isn't the first time I've gotten to a point of walking away or being really upset. And he is extra nice for a while, only to go right back to being his old self in a few days. I guess we'll see. And here's another update. Where to even begin? Yikes. Ooh. First, I want to thank everyone who chimed in. It really helped me feel validated in my frustration and process it. So after the meltdown the day of the last post, he did as promised and took over the housework and kids for the day. However, as I feared, by the next day, he had returned to his old dismissive, chauvinistic self. He did zero housework. Yeah, that's actually a good point. It might be like a whole like there. I think among like an older generation, it's like, oh, housework, that's a womanly duty. You know, like that 100%. There might be a little sexism at play. He did zero housework for the rest of the week, and picking up the slack ended up putting me in a position of unpreparedness for a very important test due tomorrow. This is his usual MO. He puts in effort for just long enough to make me think he has changed, then he reverts. Starting Sunday, I reminded him frequently that I needed time to study. It's a math test and it's hard, so my plan was to study 2 hours per day and be prepared by Friday. This meant he would need to pick up at least a little slack, giving baths, reading bedtime stories, etc., so I could focus. Except it didn't happen, so I ended up using the time I needed to study to cook, clean, and do laundry. Now it's late on the eve of the test and I've had all of 1 hour of study time. I'm exhausted and I can't even fathom practicing proportions or quadratic equations right now. I broke down out of frustration and told him I couldn't handle it anymore. I run my business, bust my butt in school, and keep everything running. It's a major unfair burden and I'm tired of trying to make him care. I asked him how it was that he could treat his female coworkers as equals and not extend that same respect to me. He admitted to being a hypocrite and stormed off to play video games. Right now, I'm contemplating taking incompletes for the semester so I can focus on my business and weather a messy divorce from a giant man baby. Relevant comments. So there's a little bit more answers in the course. I'm just going to run through this and then we can debrief. But random GUID, like for a weekend, you will have pests overrunning your home within a weekend if you prioritize your studies over cleaning, and your husband would happily allow your home to be overrun with pests. OP replied, because of the way my courses are structured, I have to study both some weeknights and on weekends. Yes, the home we bought is a century home being renovated in a neighborhood where roaches move in very quickly. Certain species live outdoors but come in at night if they smell food, and unless you live in a vacuum sealed bubble, they find ways in, even through water pipes. Those are thumb-sized ones that jump and fly. We've managed thus far to avoid indoor dwelling varieties like German roaches through keeping counters and dishes clean, keeping laundry off the floor, and taking the trash out every night. So that's basically the context. That's where we stand. John, what do you think? Is this divorce worthy?
Yeah, I know we got a lot of people always wanted to do the divorce chant very early, but this is 10 years in. And I feel like OP is going through so much trying to get her degree and build her business and all this stuff. And just like exactly like OP said, he'll do it for a few days just to kind of get her off his back and then go right back to his old ways. It's just spewing disrespect all over it to me.
Yeah, it definitely spews disrespect. At the same time, it feels small, but it's like, that's the thing about a small thing that you just don't address in a marriage is if you just don't address it, it becomes a big thing. And like, yes, it's like, oh, you're not, taking the toilet paper away, or not taking the lint away. You're not helping with the kids, like all very small things. But I think what you said is correct. It's like, it's a pattern of disregard and disrespect that it seems like he just is unconcerned with addressing.
Yeah.
But it does suck that it does feel like it's like small, but it's big at the same time,
Yeah, it's like if it was just the cleaning, it also maybe would be okay for like maybe a month, a few months. But like once it gets past that point, it's like she's also having to live in it and like cleaning it. That to me over years, like even the disrespect part aside, that to me is like, I do not want to continue living in this environment.
She's given him enough chances, and
a lot.
Maybe instead of going straight to divorce, try a separation initially, because like the divorce can be super. Yeah, like I feel like a separation might accomplish some of what you need, and then a divorce next. But I don't know again. Maybe now. Maybe you know exactly what you want. But I would love to know if you guys think of this as divorce worthy. If your partner was consistently and constantly just not clean, is it something you would accept, or would you divorce over it? And it's like the other thing is, I think you have to know what you're marrying to. Like, has he just always been this way? Like some people are just messy. Like they just don't think about it, and nothing you can do can make them change that. And like, that's something you have to consider if you're okay with like getting married to that person, It
sounds silly on the surface, but it's actually, you're living with this person. Like,
you're living with this person.
A big part of it.
This might not be a deal breaker for everyone. Some people might just be like, hey, so many other good qualities, but super messy. I'm just gonna have to deal with it. So it's just really like, would you deal with it? But I would love to know, would you deal with this husband if this guy was super messy? And also, do you have a messy partner? How have you dealt with having messy partners? Put your answers in the comments below. We'd love to hear it.
See you on the next one.
We're gonna get into this next story actually right now.
I told my husband, your job is easy because he's a stay-at-home dad. Now he's mad and wants to talk. Am I the a-hole?
Love a good stay-at-home dad.
The classic switcheroo. I am writing this from the guest bedroom.
Not a good bedroom to write anything from.
You guessed it, because my husband and I have had a fight. So the thing is, my husband is a stay-at-home dad. 3 years ago, he wanted to quit his job and take care of the house and children, 6 female and 2 male. I work a decent job and earn most of the money. My husband takes pride in being a stay-at-home dad. He always brags about how it's the easiest job in the world, and women are just complaining for no reason. Wait. I thought we were going to go the other direction. Wait.
That's a funny take, though.
I thought he was going to be like, I take pride, men never really, think about stay-at-home moms have been doing for like all these years.
Like, this shit's easy, bro. Try investment banking.
But the truth is, I help him with the chores as much as I can. In the morning, I wake up and fix the breakfast for them, and my husband gets our daughter ready for school. I also do meal preps for lunch. All he has to do is assemble them and cook it. Wow, so she's like teeing up the meals, I guess. That's
why it's so easy. He's doing it on easy mode, dude.
Right? I pack my and my daughter's lunch. When I'm at work, he does the cleaning and spends time with our son or does his thing.
Does his thing.
Beating my later when I come home, I cook dinner and give my son a bath. I help my daughter with her schoolwork, or I play with them for some time until bedtime. Besides that, whenever we do laundry, I fold the clothes that he washes and put them away.
It sounds like the responsibility is actually split pretty equally between household chores.
During the deep cleaning of our house, we split the tasks 50-50. I also handle all of the doctor's appointments.
So what? So is he's just doing half a job right now.
The system works really well, but I hate that he thinks my contribution is not enough. That he does all the chores and that I don't even lift a finger.
Wait, bro, you just said it was the easiest job in the world, though.
Hold on. How is it the easiest job and she's not doing anything when she's doing 50%?
Yeah, it
the
sounds
same job
pretty
you're
evil.
doing.
It sounds pretty even, dude. I'm not following here.
Oh, this is great. Moreover, he has a blog and a TikTok where he films his days. Yo, can we get an @? Can we start some TikTok
everyone
beef
says
over
they
here?
have a TikTok, but they never give the @ dude. I want to know the @.
He also make posts about how easy it is to be a stay-at-home dad, and women just complain and are full of it.
This is so bad. Bro, I mean, one, you're doing it on easy mode. Your wife is helping with 50% of the things. It's like the worst take ever. Like, and also, I mean, it depends how many kids you have and like also what age they are too. So like, what a terrible take.
100%. Also, slight side note, I don't know, for me, like I've been living on my own almost 10 years. I'm just so used to like cleaning for myself, cooking for myself. It's like weird to have somebody else do it. I don't know. Maybe that's just me, but I've always felt that way.
Yeah. But like, I think if you're absent-minded, it's just like, or yeah, in the last story, the guy was just like not even thinking about folding the clothes or putting away the shoes. And so like I had a roommate that would open up every single cabinet door that he used and never close it.
Apparently that's a thing.
It's such a thing. I fucking would hit my head on these doors and I'm like, Marcel, what the fuck? Close the cabinet doors.
Now there's an @. I'm glad he likes it, but I hate he thinks that he is superior to everyone and invalidating their experience. I grew up in a house where my dad didn't even lift a finger and my mom did literally everything around the house. He was the fun dad doing the bare minimum. So I do not want that to happen to my husband. Also, it is my house too. I believe if both people do chores, the stress becomes less. Also, I know many of my friends who struggle with doing chores as a stay-at-home mom. I also know women who work and still do the majority of the chores, and his comments make me irritated. Makes a lot of sense. So, yesterday, my friend Ashley came to visit. She is a mother of 2. Her son probably has ADHD and very much active. She has trouble handling her son and gets no help from her husband. Her son breaks a cup in our house. Ashley was saying sorry. My husband cleaned it up and she was complaining how exhausted she is. My husband scoffed and told her, "You must be doing the parenting thing wrong because I am the stay-at-home parent too, but I never had a problem. My wife barely does anything around the house and it is so easy."
Bro, what is...
Maybe I should give you a lesson or two.
Not the thing to say. It's like, oh my God, I'm so stressed. Is like, bro, you suck.
Man, I just want to make sure, do you know you're terrible? Like, do you know how
terrible
awful
at
you
this
are?
whole parent thing? Like, it's easy as shit, dude. God, dude,
I can start writing out some ABCs if you want.
Like,
is that easy?
Even if this was true, even if he was doing all the work, it is emotionally vapid and just dumb as fuck to like say that to someone who is struggling. Like, if someone was struggling in school, it's like, oh man, like I'm like you're not doing well on tests. I wouldn't go. It's like, well, you must be an idiot because I'm getting A's. Like, you wouldn't say that because everyone struggles differently and does things differently. Like, you want to be an emotional support system, not someone who tears them down.
But what about letting idiots know they're idiots, Sam?
That's
what
true,
about
that's
that?
True. The Elon Musk way.
Now, I can see Ashley was upset. I understand why. Later that day, I told him what he said to Ashley was very rude. My husband acted as if he had said nothing wrong and was just honest.
It's so rude.
Bro.
Don't mask assholeness with honesty. Because you're being honest doesn't mean you're not an asshole.
I pointed out that he doesn't do all the chores. I help him with at least 40%. That's why he thinks it's easy. He again argued that those chores are not significant compared to what he does. I told him he was being mean to everyone. We got lucky that our kids are easy and not active.
Yeah, our kids just fucking sit around all day like a freaking potato.
Just a bunch of zombies, just freaking zonked out. Most of the kids are hard to handle. He again scoffed and said, how hard can it be? Famous last words, buddy.
Dude, please just say, then do all the fucking chores. Like,
Please.
do them all.
Let it go. Let's see. We argued about this, and he told me I am being ungrateful because no man would ever sacrifice like he did. A true
You said
hero.
it was easy. What is it? Is it the easiest job in the world, or have you sacrificed a lot? Like, pick a side.
It's so easy, and I sacrifice everything. I'm such a hero. It's hard. It's hard for us heroes out here. I am upset and gave him some space. Was I wrong to point it out? There is an edit and an update, but where we are right now.
Oh, he's being a dick. He's being a massive dick.
Yes. Yes.
Like it might be easy. You might be right. You know, he might think it's easy, or at least for his kids, but he's like, how he's acting is not emotionally intelligent at all.
Not at all. What I'm curious to everyone watching, and Sam, what do you think the solution is? Like, what should OP do to try to
Stop doing any of the chores and see how he likes it.
I love that idea.
Yeah.
I'd be like, hey, if your job is so easy and my chores are so insignificant, I'm just going to take a little pause on it. You know, like you said, it's so easy. It's so simple.
It seems like I'm a little stressed out. It seems like you could use more work. Let's make it a little, let's put this stay-at-home dad thing on easy mode. If it's so insignificant, the things that I'm doing, then you just do it.
Let's give you some significance, buddy.
But also,
Right.
I think like part of it is like just like hanging with kids. Like OP probably wants to read to the kids. Like that's something that she probably gets joy out of too.
Yeah, like OP wants to spend more time with the kids.
Yeah.
100%.
So like because there are certain like chores that are just like also just hanging with the kids that
Right.
she might want to be involved in. So she might not want to be like, oh, I'm not going to do this because she likes doing it too.
Ah,
But just offload all the things you don't like doing to him. Bam.
Boom.
Problem solved.
Delegate it, baby. If it's so
Delegate.
insignificant. On to the edit and update. Just wanted to point out that I have no issues with him being a stay-at-home dad. I just don't like his attitude towards it and the way he thinks it's the easiest job in the world, because to me and most of the people, it is a job that has no vacation days.
I also do not like that attitude.
I also very much do not like that attitude. Okay. I took everyone's advice and drum roll, please.
Divorce.
I stopped working on all the chores.
Yeah.
Close
okay,
enough.
Sweet.
Close enough. I did tell him beforehand, since he thinks my contribution to the housework is nothing, then I will stop doing everything altogether.
That
Love
honestly,
that.
I think is a great solution, because if you just think it's insignificant, then just do it. It'll
Easy.
take a load off me.
I told him since he thinks being a stay-at-home dad is easy, then he should have the full experience of it. My friend's husband doesn't even lift a finger around the house, so I wouldn't too. He was obviously upset. He wanted to argue I cannot do this to him. He even tried to pull the incompetence card. I told him I am not to do my portion of the job at home. I also gave the typical excuse, I work all day at my office so that we can survive on one income. It is selfish for him to expect me to do the housework. So I think kind of like she's taking that classic line and trying to flip it back on him. That's what I did. I didn't do any housework. I didn't wake up in the morning and make breakfast. My husband had to do it. It wasn't hard for him, but I can see he was moody. I don't want to make these stupid pancakes.
Maybe he's just gonna realize that him doing everything is also super easy to like.
Right? Yeah, he goes stronger. He's like, I realized it's even easier of a job than I thought. Let the misogyny course through my veins.
I'm a freaking prodigy.
I asked him to prepare my lunch because that is also part of the job. He refused at first, but then I told him he will do all the household chores too. That includes my lunch as well. He only packed me a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. Damn, how passive aggressive, dude.
The minimum.
Better than just like a single banana, I guess.
PB&J is pretty good though. I'm
It
never
slaps.
gonna. Yeah, it slaps.
I didn't do meal prep for lunch. It was his to figure out. At night when I came home, I didn't make dinner. I asked him to do it. He was shocked, but did it anyways. I didn't give my son a bath. Our son was fussy, which pissed my husband off. I only helped my daughter with her homework. I didn't help him with the laundry. The first few days, he didn't say a word. But after a week, it was showing that he is getting exhausted. There we go, baby.
Get fucked, dude.
Woo. He was getting more and more angry at small stuff, and usually cleaning would cool him off. But whenever he sees a mess, he throws a tantrum. In the weekends, I went to my mother's house to relax. That weekend, we were supposed to clean our bathrooms. He did that all by himself. As the days progressed, I could see him being really angry at me. Even I admit it affected our intimacy a lot. At last, after 2 weeks, he told me, basically yelled, that I had proved my point.
Dang.
He caved.
Well, I'm glad that he finally got it through his thick fucking skull after 2 weeks.
Bro, come on.
It feels extremely stubborn. Like, that's so stubborn. It took him 2 weeks for it to finally click.
Although, hey, you know what? He committed.
Yeah, he did commit.
Now things are back to normal, but I can see he is very distant with me. Last night, I asked him to talk with me. He said he knew what game I was playing, but he did not appreciate me treating him like garbage and not considering his feelings. I told him it was his words that being a stay-at-home dad is easy. I just gave him the full experience of it. He kept denying that, and I should have been more supportive. All these weeks, he felt like nobody and so underappreciated. He felt invisible. He started to hate me for not giving an F and dumping everything on him. He's still not talking to me. We have booked a couples therapy session next week.
Oh, shit.
Let's see if our relationship sustains it or not.
Oh, wow.
Oh, man. It's looking dicier.
That's fucking dicey, dude.
We thought. Oh, man. We have some quick comments and then a final piece of the story. Is alimony a thing where you come from? OP, we live in a no-fault state. That has nothing to do with whether or not alimony gets awarded. You'd best check that out. OP says, we don't have a prenup. He has been out of work for 3 years. Maybe I do have to pay his alimony, but I'm not sure. Is there any option where if he gets alimony, he has to find a job within a certain amount of time, otherwise his spousal support will be revoked? As he is a stay-at-home parent, he will likely get primary custody as it is seen as better for the kids consistency-wise. OP says, I'm not planning on divorce. I believe in our marriage. I'm hopeful we will go through with it. If divorce comes, I will be pushing for 50-50. And we have one final update.
Juicy update. Let's get to it.
This will probably be my last and final update. I wanted to let you guys know we are not getting a divorce like some of you hoped for and cursed me out in my personal messages. Come on, y'all.
Reddit, come on.
Hate that. Like, seriously, who wishes a stranger that their husbands should cheat on them? That's insane. We did go to counseling, and yes, I sincerely apologized for my childish behavior because of a Reddit post that I made. We discovered a lot of things about us and our relationship at the counseling sessions. Firstly, I apologized to him and explained why I did it. I wanted him to feel like it was not easy if you do not have help. I also mentioned my mother's experience in being the caretaker of the family, and doing it all alone is exhausting, which I think now is a stupid way to get my point across. But I was hurt and very annoyed that he thinks women just complain about housework when most of them, I am sure, don't have help from their spouses.
Yeah.
He expressed that
felt
he
like
gets it.
It was the only way that she could like get it across to him, though. That's
and you know, maybe there was some kind of like gloating or some like extra attitude on top of it that, you know, maybe was more disrespectful than it needed to be. But I think generally her intention was like, you say these are all easy, I will just let you do the chores.
Yeah.
Like,
well, like, see how easy it is.
Pretty cut and dry, honestly.
I don't know. I don't know if I see it as childish. Like, I see it as like more of like an experiment in empathy.
Only if she, you know, maybe made some extra comments and things that she wasn't being that forthcoming with.
Or maybe it's like, hey, like, maybe setting it as an experiment, like, hey, you think this is easy? Would you be down to do a 2-week experiment, just seeing what it's actually like?
Fair. But I mean, and while she didn't do that, she at least did give the heads up and basically the reasoning of it. Yeah. But yeah, could have been a little better, but you know, come on.
I don't really fault her for that, honestly. I
don't think so either. He expressed that he gets it. And those few weeks when I didn't help him really took a toll on him. He doesn't get tired easily, but since he was doing all of it, it was tiring for him. I acknowledge that. After a lot of talking and communicating, we came to the root cause. He said that sometimes he feels insecure about himself. Okay, now we're getting to something, I feel like.
Getting to the meat and potatoes.
Like, he is not doing enough for us. All of his guy friends have jobs. They provide for their family. His friends bragged about taking his wife to a vacation in Greece. He felt small compared to that because he only made dinner and gave me a massage. On the other hand, I gifted him a very expensive watch. He felt like he was supposed to be the provider of the family, but feels really small because I am out here doing good in my career and he feels stuck. It was one of those moments that made me cry. I liked it when he made dinner for me and gave me a massage. He is a good cook. I asked him if he wants to go back in the workplace. If that's the case, he will have my full support.
Wow,
man.
that's awesome.
Yeah, it's always good when the breakthrough comes and it's like he was just masking all of this stuff with all of this like anger and everything.
Yeah, like the bravado of like, oh, this shit's so easy is like because he's insecure about where he is.
100%. I know things will change a lot. We both have to make compromises, but it will be worth it because I love him and he is the best husband anyone can ask for. He says he doesn't want to handle the pressure of the workplace. Last time he crashed and decided to quit. He likes being a stay-at-home dad, but also wants to earn. So he's going to look for a part-time job while doing what we used to do. I encouraged him to look into freelancing and remote work. He did find one, but it's low paying, so the search for a decent job is still on the hunt. And he did apologize to my friend Ashley. He realized not everyone has it easy. I mean, we hit the jackpot with the kids because they are pretty quiet. People have different struggles, and I know he is sincere because he deleted his blog post about being a stay-at-home dad being easy. Okay.
Wow.
He's really turning a new leaf here, I think.
Turning around.
Also, unrelated, Ashley is getting a divorce. All right, divorce channers, you got something, I guess.
Divorce.
Oh, no. Woo-hoo! Good for her, I guess. We are fine. Our children are fine. We still have one more session for therapy left. Our intimate lives are better, and we found a better way to communicate with each other rather than being petty. I was scared that our marriage will collapse, but I am glad we stood strong.
Wow.
I love that.
That's awesome that we got to like a really strong place at the end.
Yes.
It seems like the relationship is even stronger than it began. Like, I think it's always interesting when you have a fight in a relationship and there's like this critical moment of it could either go so wrong or so right. And if you just push through it in the right way, it can make the relationship stronger at the end.
100%. It makes that ending that much sweeter. You know what I mean? And that much more powerful that they've built the relationship back from where it was so far away.
Yeah. And also like, you know, she said that like I actually feel like that experiment needed to happen for him to truly understand. Like, I don't think just talking about it would have done the job, you know?
Yeah, I don't know like what exactly the like childish behavior it was other than my guess of like her having him do the chores. But I think I really think it was necessary for he finally truly understood.
But let us know what you think of this situation. Like, do you think being a stay-at-home parent is easy, first off?
Mm-hmm.
Why or why not? And what do you know about, like, I guess, like stay-at-home dads, any stay-at-home dads watching? Like, what does that feel like for you? Because it's, I think, I feel like there's often not a social demand, but like the social default is like women are the stay-at-home parent. Obviously, that's changing a lot. And so I'm wondering what it feels like to be a stay-at-home dad, or what you guys have heard of what that feels like. Please put your answer in the comments. We'd love to hear it.
In addition, we would love to hear your stories. If you want to send them in, you can call 440-508-6567. We're playing your voicemails on the show and calling a few of you. We'd look forward to hearing your stories. See you on the next one.
See you soon.